What's up, y'all? It's Erica. It's me. What's going on? It's Monday. Let me clean this damn mirror, child. What's going on, y'all? In your face today. I'm trying to get this camera right. I'm trying to get the best camera angle that I can. Let me turn these down. It's raining today. Best camera angle that I can to, so that y'all can see, but I can still look like I got some sense. I don't like this camera angle, but I'm not gonna change it. I'm not gonna change it. I want it to be higher. I don't know. Okay, so what are we talking about this morning? Okay, so first things first. Papa freaks, all the honeys, dummies, playboy bunnies, those wanting money. All right, okay, let me calm down. It's raining. I'm gonna have to concentrate on driving. Okay, so we're gonna talk about 21 Savage being actually from the UK and not from Atlanta. We're gonna talk about the responses to that and how those were handled from Demi Lovato and Tammy Lauren. And I want to talk about this thing that's come out about the DNA test being used to find criminals and stuff like that. So then I also had an idea that I think that we should probably start with in terms of our shouting out specific companies and businesses on Fridays, small black-owned businesses. That's what I want to do. I have been watching Killer Mike. I'm on the Killer Mike tour, as somebody told me. Everything that Killer Mike has been on to promote his show on Netflix called Trigger Warning with Killer Mike, which I watch and is actually very, very good. He delves into everything that affects our community, from buying black to religion to, he covered everything. You should watch it. It's not, I think it's like, when I want to say like, it's not that many episodes. I'm going to say 4 or 5 episodes. I hope he gets another season. I think it's very important. There was one episode where he could only buy black for 3 days or contribute his dollars had to go into black owned businesses, whether it was he couldn't drive a car because there's no black owned car companies. He couldn't ride the bus because there's no black owned bus companies. He could not eat at certain restaurants. He found a black owned restaurant, but then he found out their food wasn't purchased from a black farm. He did find a woman later who was a farmer, whose family were farmers, came from a family of farmers, grew her own vegetables and food and everything. He did find a black owned grocery store that was owned by the Nation of Islam. But it wasn't a full grocery store, like you can get all of your needs. You can't get everything there. So he was kind of touching on the fact that we need to have more black owned businesses. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, black owned businesses, bad customer service and this and that. Well, the thing is, you got to let them know that the customer service is bad so that they can change it. You don't say, like, I've always said that, like, if you go to a black owned business or you're dealing with a black owned business online and the service is bad, you're gonna have to say, sis, bruh, your service is awful, and then let them know. It's better than not telling them and then their business suffering and ultimately closing. Give them an opportunity to fix whatever it is that's wrong. I think that's fair, and we have to get away from the idea that we provide bad service or whatever. So it's just not true. When we kind of like comb through, it's just not true statements. I think we kind of jump on ideas that are kind of negative against us. We kind of take on our oppressors' ideas about us. A lot of things. But anyways, but yeah, go watch Trigger Warning with Killer Mike. He was also on B103. He's been on The View. He's been on, and you can see he's calling himself Michael Render, which is his name. He's not calling himself Killer Mike. all the time. It's Killer Mike, Michael Render. He's going by both, so it looks like he's trying to do like a brand changing and branding, you know. But I think he is a very good voice. Everybody may not like everything that he says, but I think at the base level, Killer Mike wants what's best for his people. And, you know, he was on the V103 episode, or, you know, broadcast was really good, because being from Atlanta and saying that the white Jesus is a detriment to the black community, that's like really going against the majority. And it really is. You're in the Bible Belt saying that, you know, Jesus ain't it. White Jesus ain't it. And we need to be able to see the God in us and the divine in us in order to see the divine in others, and to stop using God and the devil as an excuse for, you know, not being able to do things or things holding us back. No, it's you. It's us. We need to see the God in us. So Frank kind of challenged him on that, asking him, you know, do you not believe in Jesus? Trying to get him. He was like, I don't believe in any of the top 3 religions. So Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. So I don't believe it. I don't follow any of them. That's what y'all do, but that's not my thing. I see the God in myself. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think and I think that challenging, especially people from the South who the Bible has been used to enslave our people. I mean, we know that colonizers take the Bible, what do you say, Bible and candy. Give the kids candy, give the adults Bibles, and change who they believe they are with this book. I always call the Bible Aesop Fables. He was calling it a great story of what did he say? A great picture. What was he saying? I forgot how he described the Bible. But I've always said the Bible is Aesop Fables. It's a book of lessons and, you know, teachings on how to conduct yourself. But it's not like, and for me, I'm not, you know, you already know where I'm not with the shits at all. I'm not with the shits at all. But other than that, it's a really good show. I think he started a business with some Crips in Atlanta. Cripicola, started a Coca-Cola business, and they're like, well, why are you starting a business? It's soda. It's not good for our people. And he was like, well, our people love it, and y'all drink everybody else's soda, and it's killed more people than gangs. Sugar has killed more black people than gangs have, and all this other stuff. And so there's a lot of comedic, you know, parts of the show. It's very, you know, you'll laugh, but then at the base of it, at the foundation of it, what he's really trying to do is just make a way for black people to be able to live off the land, learn how to fish and hunt and garden and shoot, and, you know, exercise as Americans by nationality, you know, exercising the Constitution, exercising your constitutional rights, not giving up your guns because of whatever. And it's like, the criminals are not going to give up your guns. Why the hell would you give up your gun? There's no argument for me with that at all. But yeah, so it was good. And I've been, like I said, on the Killer Mike tour, watching everything, posting it on my YouTube feed so y'all can see what I'm watching or listening to or whatever, because I thought it was really, really good. I you know, like I said, some people don't like Killer Mike, but at the baseline, he loves his people, and he's going to do whatever he can to, like, you know, talking about the public school system, especially in the South. When the kids are walking in school, you have a sense of pride. Don't send your child to a private school just because you believe he's going to get a better education, and then subject him to a lot of racism and, you know, and hostile environments based on their race. You should not expose children outside of that until they're 13 is his idea. And he, you know, probably takes that from the Jewish community, where they insulate their children until they're about 13 years old, and then they put them out to the world, and that's where you have your bat and bar mitzvahs. And then, you know, come on, don't do this. Don't play with me. Do not play with me, y'all. and then they're able to have enough confidence within their culture that they don't lose themselves when they get into these schools, and these kids create hostile environments from them because they learned racism from their parents or what have you. So I thought he makes a lot of great points, but one of his things that he talks about on Fridays is called Black Fridays, and you buy black, you buy something from one, at least if you're gonna buy something that day, buy it from a black owned business. So what I decided I'm going to do is, if you guys want to, what black owned businesses, small black owned businesses to shout out on Friday, you can send them to my email at politeasfckpod@gmail.com, and just title the email Black Friday shout out or Black Friday small business, whatever you want to do, but put Black Friday on there so I can know that we'll shout out a couple of black owned businesses on Friday so that we can shop black, right? It is Black History Month. I did want to do a small video on black banks, because we can, put our money into black banks. He's talking about how black banks, black owned banks, are giving loans to the Koreans, the Vietnamese, the Indian folk that have all the gas station and beauty supplies and stuff like that. They're getting those loans from black owned banks. They want to do business because they know they're going to have their stuff together and all that stuff. We need to do the same thing when it's time to open our business. Stop looking. I really have a problem, because I had a conversation with a guy one time who was talking about how we need white people to get into these spaces for us and this and that. I'm like, okay, if you want to use a white person to get into a particular space or market, don't make him a partner. Why would you do that? Make him work for you. Why would you make him a partner? Make him a consultant so that he doesn't have any rights to your business. You can pay him to get you in these spaces, but why would you partner with him and give him a piece of what? No, you don't do that. I think a lot of us see that. I had that conversation with a guy. I was like, you really think you need white people to do things that you want to do? And we got to remove that idea that we need that from them in order to move into spaces that we want to get into. And why are you trying to get into their spaces anyway? Just like when Charlamagne was saying, Kevin Hart, he's gotten into the Oscars, why would we tear them down? Well, why do you want to get into that space anyway? That space is owned and operated by old white men. Why do you want to get in that space? What space have you ever been in with old white men that have been beneficial for black men? Answer me that. I'm not talking about football either, because at the base of football, the niggas is getting mentally debilitating diseases from it. So is it really good? You understand what I'm saying? I really think people should stop trying to promote football. I really think it's bad. And you, like, when you talk to retired football players and ask them, are there children in football? And they tell you no. Why aren't your children in football? Well, goddamn it, we get fucked up contracts, one, and then we getting illnesses that are putting us into our early onsets of dementia. No, we're not doing that. That's not something we should be promoting. A lot of football players do not want their kids playing football. That should tell you something. Your body is not created to be crashing into another body for no reason at all, over and over and over again. I've always said that the NFL is a club of slave owners. They own these slaves, they watch them play on the field, and your majority of your quarterbacks and kickers are what? I call them the overseers. They're watching and making sure they're in the positions that are less susceptible to injury. Doesn't anybody see the correlation here? I mean, I've always said that. I believe that NFL owners are nothing but slave owners. And then Siempre Bruja, I want to talk about that real quick. That came on Netflix over the weekend, and everybody was really excited about it because it was going to be about a black woman from Colombia, and a witch, basically. And it was going to talk about, we thought that they were going to talk about, the right thing. But no, it is a story of a Colombian slave who is a witch, who is traveled back into time or forward into time, but wants to travel back to save her slave owner, to save the owner, her owner, a white man. So no, I didn't watch it. I was excited about watching it, but then when I saw what it was about and everybody was talking, I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm not. And then I said, what we really messed up is not looking at the writers. And when you look at the writers, you'll understand. Oh, this was not about to be on nothing for us at all. Nothing for us. And then I know that I saw this woman on Twitter. You know, this battle between Afro-Latinos and Black Americans, it really bothers me because I'm just like, it's like, ugh. But I'm trying to tell this girl on Twitter, like, you guys believe that rituals, practices, and religions that came from, you know, your background, the practices, voodoo, Santeria, all of those, they're not exclusive to Afro-Latinos. You have to understand that. Even the book of Psalms are their spells. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, those are invocations of spells. I don't understand. I don't like that fight. I don't like that fight. I just don't like that fight. I just don't like it. And like, oh, Black people are trying to take over witchcraft and hoodoo and voodoo and Santeria and Yoruba and all this other stuff. Okay, well, it's not exclusive to you because a lot of the practices in the church are stemmed in those practices. I mean, we can get into it at a later date, but it's not exclusive to the diaspora. It really isn't. It's not. It's just not. But it's just that Black Americans were given the Bible and stripped of those rituals and practices. But still, if you look at the church rituals and practices, there are a lot of rituals and practices that are stemmed in what you would consider witchcraft. But not in the sense of Wiccan witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain this shit. I'm not explaining it because y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, so we find out that 21 Savage ICE picked up 21 Savage. He had a show where he was making some statements about immigration, and the next day he was picked up by ICE, and they were stating that he is not an American. He is from the UK, and a lot of jokes and stuff like that were coming out, and it's so funny how you see the people who are really, you know, don't understand the history of hip-hop trying to say that, you know, oh, he came in and infiltrated the culture, he's making money off of hip-hop and he's not really an American and all this other stuff. First, you have to know your history of hip-hop to understand the founder and the godfather. DJ Kool Herc is Jamaican. A lot of in all elements of hip-hop, whether it be b-boys, the graffiti artists, the DJs, the rappers, it's never been exclusive to Black Americans. In fact, it was started in the Bronx. We're going to be honest. It was started in the Bronx, and the Bronx is full of Puerto Ricans, the Afro-Latinos. It's full of them. So a lot of pop lockers and everything, they were Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. So you cannot say Slick Rick is from the UK. So he's like a godfather and a pioneer. So you can't say that 21 Savage infiltrated hip hop and acted like he was somebody he wasn't. He came here when he was 12 and assimilated to the Southern culture, and naturally growing up, he's going to get into hip hop or whatever. I don't have any issue with him. I think it's funny that he's from the UK and he's a trap artist. I think it's hilarious. I don't think there's anything wrong with him being from the UK. Not saying where a lot of people aren't from, like when you say especially from state to state. So like if I say I'm from Los Angeles. Okay, I'm from Los Angeles. Well, where were you raised? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I was raised in Los Angeles, born and raised in Los Angeles. He was raised in Atlanta. Till he was they say he came here when he was 12 years old on a visa. It expired, never got it reinstated. I have a lot of questions because he's been convicted. He's a convicted felon. I don't understand how you can be, quote unquote, an illegal immigrant, get scooped up in the American legal system, and they not come to the realization like, wait a minute, he wasn't born here. He don't have any active visas to be here or to be working here. What? He's been in the American criminal system. How did they not catch this? And why all of a sudden are they picking him up? And the idea that of what, you know, the timing of what he said about immigration to him being picked up and held, you know, is kind of strange, right? There's no coincidences when it comes to the U.S. government, and especially ICE. Like, they're disgusting. And I don't think, like, I was watching Seren's video and she was talking about he's infiltrated, he act like he was an imposter and this and that. First of all, hip-hop has never been exclusive to Black Americans. We got a full stop. That's it. There's no other discussion. You can't tell me anything else. I don't want to hear a think piece on British people profiting off of hip hop. I don't want to hear it because it's not true. They're coming in acting like they're Black Americans. Hip hop has never been exclusive to descendants of chattel slavery. It wasn't even created by descendants of chattel slavery. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're not going to do that. You have to be honest. And honestly, hip hop was started by Caribbeans and Afro-Latinos and Black folks. So if we want to get, I really hate to like make distinctions like that. Yeah, other people make distinctions, but I really hate to make distinctions like that. Anyway, but the response, of course, you know, we're cracking jokes. We making jokes about 21 Savage being from, you know, 21 Crumpets, calling him Sir 21, Sir Savage the 21st. You know, we had a lot of jokes about it. Baby, Tommy Lauren decided to make a joke about it. A long time ago, a few months back, there's a video of Tommy Lauren rapping to a 21 Savage song. Then she posted yesterday a play on words with the 21 Savage song and saying that, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ICE agents at your front door or something like that. And the people went in. There's this thing that's going around to say we're going to mute her, block her, because what she does is she creates a tornado around her when it comes to Black folks. And then we get into the space where we have to say something to her. And when we say something and engage her, it just feeds her. It feeds her. So what we're doing is blocking Tommy on all social media platforms, so you don't have access to become quote unquote enraged by anything that is going on within our community. Stop responding to her because it just feeds her rhetoric and she uses it as material. So that's what we got to stop doing. And then Demi Lovato decided to say that she's the most fun she's had all Super Bowl are the jokes about 21 Savage. And as we're all laughing, ha 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 ha, we're like, wait a minute, bitch, I know your ass ain't laughing. Excuse me. And then it's all these people, like, they went after Demi Lovato to say, you know, first of all, bitch, you had your own issues and memes were made about you and you were very sensitive about the memes being made about you, but now you want to join in on the fun and laugh about 21 Savage being possibly deported. It ain't funny, bitch. Even though we're laughing, you're not allowed to laugh. And I think Demi Lovato got a taste of, you know, when you're talking about family, we can talk about family, you can't. Soon as you say something, bitch, everybody turned around like, wait a minute, bitch, I know your ass ain't laughing. I know you're not laughing, to the point that Demi Lovato deactivated her Twitter account. She deactivated her Twitter account because everybody came after her like, bitch, don't know. You're not joining in. And of course there was a few pockets of Black men, you know, put their capes on for her. Why would you guys talk to her like that? She was laughing with us on the jokes. No, she don't get to laugh with us. No, that's just not how it goes. And that's everybody. Everybody knows that. I remember during the Bow Wow challenge when Bow Wow said he was on that plane and he wasn't on that plane. And then some white dude came out and was like talking shit about him. And everybody was like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you, number one? And number two, don't talk about Bow Wow. We can talk about him. You can. And that's what Demi Lovato got a taste of yesterday. Bitch, we can talk about him. You can't. So all this laughing and kiki and laughing alone, no, that's not happening. We're not doing that. That's not happening, girl. She got a taste of that. We can laugh. You can. And that's just what it is. And that's just what it is. That's like, and somebody's like, well, why can't she laugh? And I had to tell them she's not family. She's not family. Why would you think it was okay for her to be laughing at him being deported? And we were not making jokes about him being deported. We're making jokes about the nigga being from the UK. It's funny. Nobody's making jokes about him being deported. He's being deported from his family. Now everybody cares so much about 21 Savage family. But when he was talking shit about, who was he talking shit about? He was promoting Offset to make up with Cardi B. He was all kind of niggas. Now y'all love his family. But that's just how we are, I guess. Whatever. But Tommy got a taste of it, and Demi Lovato got a taste of it. She took her tears to Instagram talking about, all I said was such and such was funny. I was attacked, and then like newspapers saying she was attacked by Black Twitter. No, don't talk. You've got a taste of understanding. We can talk about and laugh about, but you can't talk about or laugh about, because if you do, we're gonna remind you of not so long ago that somebody was laughing at your misfortunes. So do you want to be reminded of that? Because it's no tea. We can remind you real quick, Demi. What are you going to do? What else I got? Velvet Buzzsaw on Netflix with Renee Russo, Jake Gyllenhaal, Zawe Austin, John Malkovich. I enjoyed it. I thought it was so good. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought the art direction was great. I thought the costume design was wonderful. I enjoyed the story. It could have been scarier for me, but it was pretty good. It was like right off the bat, the movie starts. It has momentum. It runs through. It's no slow moments. It starts off. That's what I like movies that it's not like a build up. I don't like the build up. Start off telling me the story. I thought it's called Velvet Buzzsaw. And then I do want to watch the series with Natasha Lyonne because I do like her acting ability. I think she's a good actress. Rough around the edges, rebel type girl. I'm always here for that until I'm not. And then the DNA test, the ancestry test. It's so funny because I started an ancestry.com page to look at my ancestors, because there was not a lot of stories that I was told or heard, I should say, about my lineage and heritage and stuff. So I was like, okay, so I'm looking, I'm like, oh, DNA test. And I've always been very, very leery about DNA tests, the ancestry DNA test, because number one, I don't know what you're doing with you have my DNA. What are you doing with it? Like, what are you doing with my DNA? Like, something that they use to try criminal cases, something that they use as evidence to test paternity, like stuff like that. That is like, it's mine. I'm not giving it to anybody. Are you crazy? To some corporate ran company? Are you fucking crazy? Now that there's a report, I've been saying it, and I could show you tweets from years ago talking about how in the terms of conditions, they say that they can use your DNA in perpetuity and royalty free. That means if I use your shit, I can use your shit forever. And if I do use it, you can't make no money off of it. Why would you give your DNA to anybody? There's a black owned DNA that tells you about what tribes you actually came from. And now that I'm doing my research, I'm like, is that even real? You know what I'm saying? Like, What do you mean what tribes I came from in Africa? What if I'm, you know what I'm saying now? You know I've been doing my research on it, so now I'm questioning that. Because what if I ain't from Africa? You understand what I'm saying? What if I am indigenous to this land? So that is the reason why I'm like, I've never have been okay with the giving the DNA away. I've never been okay with it. But I'll post the link to the article that talks about them using it for employment, using it to try criminal cases, using it to find relatives that might or may have not committed crimes. Like, I don't know, y'all. I think it's pretty odd. I need to be at work in 7 minutes. So much traffic. I know that it's raining, so I'm not about to get behind this truck. What else is going on? So that's it. So has any of y'all done the DNA test? And if you have, what were your results? Were you happy with your results? What did you come up with? And what did y'all think about, and the Super Bowl? That's what y'all want to talk about. Of course, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. You know, I don't like the NFL. If anybody knows, have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know I do not fuck with the NFL in any capacity. I think it's the worst sporting organization ever. I think it's the worst. It gives the worst contracts. The most of the injuries are happen to black men. They end up getting these mentally debilitating diseases. If they get hurt, their contract is over. I just look at it as slave owners watching their slaves play on the plantation, and the quarterbacks and kickers are the overseers. I've always seen it like that. They said the halftime show was boring. I saw clips of Adam Levine with his shirt off. I believe his shirt off was intentional, to say, like, I'm a man up here showing my nipples. Is there going to be an outcry the way it was when Janet Jackson showed her nipples and nothing happened to Justin Timberlake, but she was quote unquote banned by Leslie Moonves, a motherfucker who lost everything because he can't keep his goddamn hands to himself. Ironically, it was Leslie Moonves that made sure he wanted Janet Jackson to apologize and all this other shit. Man, fuck that. I mean, I'm not a real fan of Janet Jackson. I'll tell y'all that story. That when I was a teenager, I went to the Rhythm Nation 1814 concert with my then best friend. And, you know, I was ready to enjoy myself. Janet Jackson fan, had my earring, my key earring in, my loop on one side, my black hat, my black boots. I was ready to go. Then she started lip syncing, and that was almost 20 years ago. I have not been a fan of Janet Jackson since. She lost me as a fan. I felt so betrayed that she was lip syncing. Oh, but she's a performer. Beyonce's ass be jumping up and down doing a goddamn calisthenics, and she can sing. So I don't care that I have held a grudge against Janet Jackson as a performer since then, and I was a teenager. I have not bought one thing of Janet Jackson. I will not. She lost me. I have been boycotting Janet Jackson since I was a teenager because her ass decided she wanted to lip sync instead of actually sing, and I felt betrayed as a young girl. I did. I'm not over it either, but I am for the Janet Jackson Appreciation Day every Super Bowl Sunday. This was the second year in a row that the whole day you post shit about Janet Jackson to let these motherfuckers know that, you know, y'all weren't right to her. Y'all didn't do her right. It was a quote unquote accident, which I still don't think it was an accident. I thought it was intentional between her and Justin Timberlake, except for he got to get forgiven, you know, by the media, and Janet Jackson she wasn't blackballed, but like she was the one that had the brunt of it. Even though he was the one that ripped the shit off of her clothes, he didn't get any kind of, what are you doing? He didn't get any kind of backlash from it. So whatever. What else is going on? I think that's it I got to talk about, you guys. That's pretty much it. What else is going on? Yeah, I heard the halftime show wasn't good. Big Boy came out. You know, I don't want to give Big Boy a pass, but they were in Atlanta. He just had a birthday. I'm just looking at that Aquarius like, I'm about to perform out here. I don't give a fuck about nobody. I just had a birthday. I'm feeling myself. Y'all in Atlanta, I don't know what the ratings came back for the Super Bowl was. I guess the crackers won. That's what they won. So I mean, and it's perfect, right? Because you know what's his name, Brady is a Trump supporter, so the winning team gets to go to the White House, and you know, what are you going to do? They're going to be up there hugging and everything, saying the Patriots won, patriarchy won, patriotism won. It's disgusting. Anyways, y'all, that's my time. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful, productive week. Take care of each other, protect your energy, and send me the things so we can shout out small black owned businesses on Friday, okay? And any advice, well, since you asked, that is going to be the name of it, of that segment. And you can send those also to politeasfckpod@gmail.com. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Share this video if you feel like any of the topics that I discussed were something that you and your circle of friends like to discuss. And let's get the discussion going in the comments. Y'all have a wonderful day. Again, take care of each other and protect your energy. Peace.